Can you smell what the dawn is cooking? And what a start we've had to the transfer window so far, with even more spectacular news coming out today, just when you think it couldn't get any better. And of course, we are here today to run through the transfer news for the next hour with my boy Shawnee from over at Spurs Talk Show. His channel name is in the title, so simply just click on that, get over and show him the love as well. But Shawnee, how are you keeping, my man?
Good, mate. Yeah, good. The news keeps on coming in, and so much more to discuss. You know, I mean, it's one of those transfer windows that I think we'll be hopefully talking about for a long time to come. It seems like it's not a papering over of cracks. It seems like it's a purging of some problems and the building blocks of some real exciting times ahead. So I'm excited to be a Tottenham fan. I'm excited to be here with you. Shout out to the chat. I hope the chat is all locked in and happy and healthy.
Oh, look, big up to the chat. We'll get to the chat now in just a moment. But look, you're rightly, like you said, Sean, it doesn't seem like we're papering over cracks. It seems like we do have a bit of ambition going into this window, really trying to get a bit of structure to that squad for Ange Postecoglou, which is always positive. And, you know, one thing I've noticed, and I was on Chris Cowland's there last night, and I sort of said it, I probably should have said it on your show too yesterday, Shawnee, but the fact that Ange Postecoglou is getting some signings he wants, like Johnson, like Werner, and Vicario is also bringing in signings that he identifies, and Ange is making them better, which I think helps Ange get his signings in. And the fact that you've got two people working on the same page is absolutely unbelievable. With Conte and Paratici, I don't think they were on the same page, and stuff like that. So it's just good. And also Jose and that other fraud, Hitchin, you know, weren't on the same page. So it's good that everyone is singing Kumbaya. It's absolutely brilliant. But look, let's welcome in some of the chat, and then me and Shawnee will get onto a lot of the transfer news that is coming out today. Dark Sun G first in. Big up, Dark Sun G, with support as well. Really appreciate it, my man. Says, I can't believe Dier is finally gone. Now it's time. Look, we are going to get onto Eric Dier in just a little while, Dark Sun G. But look, I think it's for the best, you know. It should have been done a long time ago. Sean might argue to the contrary when we get onto it. But look, it's definitely bringing a smile to my face. I think he should have been gone a long time ago. And it's actually a position I feel like I don't have to stress about anymore. I don't have to have headaches about. I don't have to sit there nervous before games, seeing who the centre-back partnership is going to be. So it's all pluses in my book, Stark Sunji. I know you've been waiting a long time for him to go as well. You must be happy. We even got a bit of money for it too. I can't believe that we got a fee. We'll definitely get onto that as well. Did you see Werner welcomed by Ange? Epic moment. Do you know what I love about is the key word family. And I think that's why when he goes into transfer, Sean, he looks at the character of the player, because he's trying to create a family. And in order to have a family, you need to have good characters, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that is the one of the driving forces I think that's so important around Tottenham right now is that, you know, you saw, I think when Ange put that video out a while back saying, you know, the difference at this level, the difference between the very best and the next level down is pretty small technically. But where the value gap is really found is in the character of people. It's so brilliant to hear someone recognizing the importance of the mental side of the game, and then on top of that, doubling down and wrapping that kind of focus point with this concept of we're a family and everyone is pulling in the right direction. So we don't want anybody, or in the same direction, which hopefully is the right direction. You don't want anybody in there that's going to be a little bit too selfish, a little bit too about themselves, and kind of disrupt. You know, one bad apple spoils the sauce, right? So, yeah, family's massive, and I think with Ange, we've got the right guy. You know, he's a father-like figure, right? And every good family needs a figurehead, and he's that man. So, good times.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, it was a nice moment, Dark G. Now let's just see how Timo Werner does, the German hot dog, Tino Eno. Let's see if he comes in here and smashes a few goals for us. Gamer 16, the Radu Dragusin deal was one for the ages. Timo is plus Ndombele last minute performance that earned him the stay. Wow, we are cooking. Look, that Ndombele situation is no, but it'll be back here in the summer again. Don't worry about that. Leo says, bye Dier, have fun. Dermatron says, as I said on your show on Monday, I wasn't here, or Tuesday, Derma. I believe it was Tuesday, though. Says the deal will be done, as I said about Dier going. I was ahead of that too. When it came to Spurs transfer news, I have a record of 95% right. Big up, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you flat cap army. Come on, you Harris army. The new what we would call them? Dermot Roman Moyles or something like that. Romoyles. That's what we call it. Romoyles.
How about Romanatron? I think that works.
No, you don't want the guy to get an inflated ego. You know, he's already losing the run of himself. He'll completely lose the run of himself if you call him Romanatron. Can't have that. But look, I presume that's to the people out there who maybe criticize him. So feel free to, clap back in the comments if that's what you want to do. But big up, Darmo. Look, you know how I feel about it. I told you. He would have told you from day one where Harry Kane was going. He didn't. You know, we went round the circle with about 6, 7, 8 clubs before we eventually hit the nail on the head. But look, Dermo, I wasn't here. I'll have to go back and watch it and see what was said, my man. And if it is correct, I'll give you a message and say, well done. He also sent in a super sticker. No doubt it's probably him dancing. No, it's just got the shades on. He definitely thinks he's Romanotron now. Big up, Dermo, man. Really appreciate the support. John G says, we are officially living in the Matrix. Sue Smith, good luck, Eric. Big up, Sue. Good to see you in the building. Tony says, now Bayern Munich have Dier. Are we even with them now for stealing Kane? No, look, I used to have a lot of respect for Bayern Munich. I'm zero now. Absolutely zero. Ashley Coop says, hello, everyone. Irish H, love the great work. Can we please get more scouting reports? Yeah, look, that's more Jack's forte. I'll be honest, stats and maths gives me an absolute headache. I have to go and lie down. So that is in Jack's ball, but look, I'll get Jack onto it. I'll ask him very kindly for you for more scout reports for sure. Big up, Ashley. Big up, Nick as well. Good to see you in the building, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. I need to ring you after this, actually. I need to have a conversation with you about the North London Derby trip. Nick Collison says, as promised for you, Dave, the Don is cooking. Look, now he's getting his flowers, 2-3 years in? A bit late, Nick. I don't think there's room for you to get on that bandwagon anymore, my man. You're just a couple of months outside of making that grade. But look, I'll take it, though. He is definitely cooking. He's done an absolute magnificent job at Tottenham, and it's glad to see him earning his flowers as well. A stoic walk. Beta says, can't wait for Dave's beaming face. Here it is. I doubt it's that exciting, though. But big up, though. Big up Georgie Hill as well. I just know Dave is going to be grinning from ear to ear. Moonhead has managed to fall upwards, but he's finally out. Big up, lads. Hope you're keeping well. Dragusin agent is going to be a problem, and we're going to speak about that in just a minute, my man. Speaking of flowers, James Flowers in the building. Big up, all. Hope you're keeping well. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, James. Mr. Keaveney, we're going to win it all next season. Kai Ballick, taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Eltel Cockerell, who says Christmas doesn't last beyond the 25th of December. This Christmas is going well beyond towards the 31st of January. Spot on. And then we'll take a few more chats and then we will crack on with the news. Dark Sun G says Werner and Dragusin, Lloris, Dier, Spence out. Window is a 9 out of 10. Sean, I know you famously don't like rating windows. What would you give the start of the window so far out of 10?
Oh, I don't mind rating windows. I was the whole thus far thing from
the
thus far debacle from 2022, I think it was. Look, it's been everyone that we've wanted, we've got. You know, Todibo, I think, was just a long shot anyway. So we won't worry about that too much. But we're going about our business relatively quietly as well. Like, Timo Werner came out of nowhere. We managed to keep Ndombele away from us for the next 6 months. We managed to get rid of another bad apple coming back and disrupting the source in Jed Spence, allegedly a bad apple. So I'd give it so far, I think it's an 8. I think there's room for it to get better. You've got to leave a little wiggle room to get better. If you give it a 9, then there's very little space for it to improve. If you give it an 8, then it's good. I think that we can potentially see 1 or 2 more outgoings and one maybe Dreamworld, 2 more incomings. But leave a little bit of wiggle room. But it's been a fantastic start, mate. Fantastic start.
Look,
I'll give it an 8.5. I'll meet you halfway, Dark Sun G. I'll meet you
I was
halfway.
gonna sit at 8.5 between you and Dark Sun G. I love
Yeah.
sitting on that bench, but no, look, I think it's been a great start to the window. Would I like a little bit more? Yes, I would like maybe a centre midfielder to come in here. Look, I don't think we're going to come out of this window of 5-6 signings. I think it's ludicrous to expect that amount coming in here in January. But I would push the ball out for one more, and then for me, it would be an absolute perfect window. Dark Sun G, big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. I've got a cracking question later on. You actually might like, my man. Big up, Stevie Wilson. We're robbed the Germans 2 days running. Kane must be cussing Tuchel for Dier transfer. I mean, he left on him to get away from him, and now he's back. I mean, he must be absolutely raging. Maybe there is validity to Kane coming back here next summer. Mark Cook says, big up Super Dave and Shawnee. Big up, my man. Big up Wilson G. Big up, chaps. Hope Dier takes this opportunity as he won't get bigger. Need an 8. Now, look, that deal is set to be announced. We'll get onto that in just a moment. I want to welcome just a couple more in. Keith Edwards, Sean, tot up how much Andrew spent with all the players that come in. Wow, look, it's not that much at all, to be honest. I think it's in less than 100 million. It's insane. John G, icing on the cake, guys. Apparently, Endon Belly played 90 minutes for Galatasaray, and now they want to keep him on loan. Yeah, look, I hope they do. Maybe he had a bit of icing before he went out there, fuel him up with a bit of sugar. Maybe a short video for Shawnee, though, Keith Edwards. You might make a short video about that for you. Eddie Ryan says, good luck to Dier. Thanks for his service. Davey H, 1960 says, big up Dave and Sean. We are cooking gas now. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Daniel Sandoval. Big up Mr. Patel. Big up Mr. Wynn as well. Also, Stratters, great to see you in the building, sir. We also have Radu Dragusin's long-lost brother in the building, Danny Kiriakou. What I would say is the two of you need to get rid of that man bun, you and Radu Dragusin.
Radu. We're calling him Radu Kiriakou or Danny Kiriasin. I don't know. There's a hybrid brotherhood going on there.
Let's start a bet, Sean.
Same thing. Everything's the same. The only difference is he can play football and Danny can't.
Let's start a bet, though, lad. Who's going to get rid of the man bun first, Radu Dragusin or Danny Kiriakou?
My money's on Radu.
I think my money's on Radu. When you look at Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, Vicario, all across that back line, they've all got tight, short back and sides, and I think they might be able to influence Radu into that. So, Danny, if he does, I think you're going to be a bit behind, my man. You might have to change that up. Some people are saying Danny will get rid of it first. Danny, let me know if you have any plans on getting rid of it, though, or you're going to have to change it up, actually, since Radu has took your style, is what I would say on that. Big up Lee as well. Great to see you. Future Music, Chris D, Leslie Crossford, Davey Hall. Who else have we got? Daryl as well. Big yourselves up. Great to see you all in the building. Paul Wiley, great to see you. And then we also have Oliver 243. Big up, lads. Incredible window so far. And then we'll take this and one more, Shawnee, and then we'll crack on with the transfer news. Dark Sun G says, I can't believe we got money for Dier and Sanchez. Laughing my ass off. Look, the money I think for Dier is in around 4 million euros. I think we only paid 5 for him from Sporting Lisbon in the first place. So the fact that he's been here 9 years and we've managed to sort of more or less recoup what we paid. Now, I'd argue we've lost an absolute fortune in wages. But look, it's good to get something back. He was one that I had written off having to leave for free. So, absolute masterclass getting a bit of money on the Eric Dier deal. And we'll get Shawnee's thoughts on that in just 1 second. And then Simon Kerwood, big up, Simon. Wow, really appreciate the support, brother. If that was a mistake, let me know and I'll try and refund you or whatever. But he says, what a move considering options. The Aussies over here are now expecting top of the league. We have Ange vision. Sean, with the start we've made to the window, is that the vision with inside the club? Do you believe Ange thinks he can win that league? 6 points off top.
Yeah, I think Ange is a born winner. I think he's got that Antipodean spirit. I think he, they call it sort of tall, or the opposite of tall poppy syndrome over there. Like they want to chop down people. They get a little bit above their boots a little bit too soon. And I think Ange has got that style. You know what? I think in order to win the league, you need everyone pulling in the same direction. And I think Ange will keep everybody's feet firmly on the ground, but at the same time looking at the goal, keep their eye on the prize. And I don't see why we can't have a crack at it. Simon is spot on to have expectations. Listen, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves. I think we need to. You don't want to set yourself up for a disappointment. Manchester City are back to full strength. Liverpool, despite their injuries, are still finding a way to get it done. I think that Tottenham can realistically get in and amongst it. But for me, I think that we're still a couple of pieces away from having a team that's really capable over a 38-game league to be able to ride out. I think the more we improve as well, the more Tottenham are going to face against teams that want to do the low block. And so figuring out the way to get an early goal in those games, we haven't necessarily figured that out yet, even though we're still finding a way to get through most of them. You're going to have to be a little bit more prepared and kind of, you know, apt at breaking down the low block a little bit quicker, I think, to be able to have a proper run at it. But like I say, if we can get one more bit of business done this window, I think then finish the job off in the summer, get rid of the last remaining bits of deadwood, get two, maybe, you know, spend 150 million quid on 2 players, one really, really good striker and one really good, you know, left winger or whatever else, that are kind of maybe utility midfielder that can also play on the left like an Eze. Then I think next season, absolutely, Simon, top of the league is realistic to go for it, and also compete on 3 or 4 fronts. So this year, I'm all for it. I love the I love the ambition, but I just want to kind of temper it a little bit and think that maybe this year it's just maybe a couple of points out of reach, but next year for sure, Simon. Next year for sure.
Look, what I would say is I think we should throw all our eggs into one basket and really try and push together as a whole, as a squad, as a management team, even in the transfer window. Try and push for it. You know, Leicester pulled off a miracle not so long ago. Why can't Tottenham Hotspur do something like that? And I'm with you, Simon. I have actually changed my expectations. The way I see it, if you put yourself in a league title run, you'll automatically come out with Champions League football anyway at the end of it. So for me, look, where I do take Shawnee's point is that it's a big ask. It's a big ask. Make no mistake about it. You need City to sort of continue on the bad form they've been in. Will they do that? History tells you no. Between now and the end of the season is usually when they go on their strongest run. Arsenal are falling apart. They're crumbling, which is absolutely brilliant. But like Sean said, Liverpool are still finding a way to get over the line. With us, I think we have to learn to become a hell of a lot more clinical, a lot more ruthless in front of goal to be able to really sort of go on and win a Premier League title. I still think we lack that clinicalness. However, it will not stop me from dreaming. If we come back and we beat Man United and beat them convincingly, I think a lot of people start believing that. I also think the media might start putting us in title talk.
Listen, subject to change. I just think that obviously if we get past United, if we can get past Manchester City and in the cup, then after that, I think when you face Brentford, Everton, you know, and the teams that are coming up, I think that there's no reason why we can't, because by then we'll have Maddison back as well. The boys at the back will be fully versed and fully fit again. The only concern I've got as to why I'd say probably not this year is we seem to have about an injury every single game we play or during the week. I think we played about 22 games this season and we've had about 22 injuries. So you know, at this rate, we're still going to carry on picking up little knocks and that. Hopefully the worst is behind us. And if so, if we can keep everyone fit, we've got a chance. We've got a really good chance of being in and amongst it come April. You know, that's what you want to be, right? If you're within 5 points come the 1st of April, then absolutely, you know, things can happen.
And we've got a hell of an April as well. I think we've got Arsenal, City, Liverpool, West Ham, and Newcastle all really close together. So get into April with it in our own hands and let's take it from there, Simon. I think we'll definitely all agree on that, my man. Big up, Simon. Really do appreciate the size of the support, brother. It really does go a long way to helping everything that we do here. But also, you know, I see people getting supported right across the Spurs community, which is absolutely brilliant. It really does help everybody out. Big up, Simon. Really appreciate it. Then we'll take this from Adrian Tree and then we'll crack in to the transfer news that we've got today. Adrian Tree says, you lads are all set for Werner redemption script. Come on, you Spurs. Werner on the dance floor and Spurs are in the mood.
I can't stand that song. Can't stand it. Got to change.
I've got to catch you singing that on a watch-along before the end of the season when he bangs one in.
No, definitely not singing that one, mate. No, Sophie Ellis-Bextor. No.
Oh, it's a great song, man.
No, it's not. We can do better than that.
I was sitting here in a bad mood that day, and then the Werner sign, I didn't know how to feel about it. Then I played that song, and I was absolutely pumped up, ready to go, my man. But look, Sean, in all seriousness, though, even though, do you think Spurs have committed Werner on the dance floor then by bringing him in here?
Hang on 1 second. Sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good. I'll go quickly, Adrian. Look, for me with Werner, I think, look, financially, it's a no-risk deal for Tottenham. However, ambition-wise, it's risky. I don't think he's as clinical as I would like coming in here We need to get back to, look, we're never going to get back to Harry Kane levels, but we need to get back to as close to that as possible. One thing we took for granted is the art of goal scoring, how easy Harry Kane made it look. By having two guys that rely on confidence and are not clinical in the terms of Richarlison and Timo Werner, I think you're entering dangerous territory, a bit like what Arsenal are sort of in, where they've got two, Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, and the manager doesn't. He's at the point now, he doesn't really know who to start, who's going to get him that goals. And if both of these guys don't fire, we're going to be in that same position. The only thing is we're not long-term contracted to Timo Werner after that. However, what I do like about it is that the onus is on him to come in here and earn that move, earn that contract, with also get himself back into the German squad. So it might end up being a masterstroke. But for me, I'm 50-50 on it. I'm going to wait and see how it pans out. But I will chat Werner on the dance floor every opportunity I get. Sean, what's your thoughts on it, lad?
Yeah, I won't chant Werner on the dance floor. I'm going to find a different song that's a little bit less soft, if you like. In terms of Timo, look, I think he, redemption arc for sure. I think he's a really good player in there. I think he's always been a confidence player, and I think Ange is the sort of guy that might be able to, to find the right words in the right order to be able to get the very best out of him. I don't personally foresee him staying at Tottenham past the summer. I think that it is a short-term thing. And look, I'm all for it if he can if he comes in and does something that's meaningful and smashes it out of the park, then I'm all for giving the guy £15 million. It's not it's not the if you can get the very best out of him, then he's a good player, great player, and it'll be cheap. I still think though that we, are probably going to be having quite a big cull of the left of the forward options. I think that you're going to see Perisic gone. I think that Manor Solomon I think the rest of this season is going to be interesting with Manor Solomon because there's an asset there that cost us nothing that we could probably find 10, 15 million quid for. So that might be of interest, if Tottenham want to go in a different direction. Whether or not Werner's the guy, we'll have to wait and see. But I expect Tottenham to drop a lot of money in the summer on a striker. To Dave's point, Santiago Jimenez is probably my choice at the moment. And then there's loads of other players that are out there that are left wing specialists. But I also wouldn't mind to see Tottenham go and get someone like I said at the start, like an Eberechi Esse, who can play off the left, can play the second 8 on the left-hand side, can play in the middle, can play in the 10, and can offer that kind of variety and versatility. So I'd like Tottenham to go and sort of, if you can't do it now, which I don't expect you to wait until the summer, keep your powder dry, and then go and get the final pieces for a big push next year. And I don't really envision Timo Werner being a part of it unless he absolutely smashes it this next 6 months. And I'm not expecting him to do that. I'm expecting him to contribute, to be an impactful option. But I don't expect him to just suddenly come back and find the form from when he was 22 years old again. But I'm still happy he's here. I still think he's a good signing. I think it makes a lot of sense. And the redemption script is fine with me. Yeah, let it play out the way it wants to play out. It's going to be an interesting movie to watch, Dave.
No, look, it definitely will be. And I think, look, he's definitely been brought in here to provide a cover across all front three options. Maybe give Richarlison a bit of a kick up the hole as well. Try and push him on, But look, like I said, and I've always said this, I would have liked Spurs to go after that position with a bit more ambition. But look, let's wait and see what Timo Werner does. But big up Adrian Chia, my man. Really appreciate the support. But look, we are going to crack on. We've got 4 or 5 bits of news to bring you, have a discussion on. Feel free to smash that like button as we go through it. Most importantly, as we share our thoughts, put yours in the comment section. And feel free to make it a super chat if you want to help and support everything that we do here. But big up, everybody, and really appreciate you tuning in. The first bit of news is that all documents on Radu Dragusin have been sealed between Genoa and Tottenham. The Romanian centre-back has also completed the medical test yesterday. Official announcement next step as Postecoglou will have the new centre-back he wanted. Now, he does have to be registered by 12 p.m. tomorrow, 12 noon, so that he can play against Manchester United. Now, we do have a bit of news as well at the end that Romero is back, so whether he'll play or not, but ideally you'd like to think that he'd be registered at least, so we have the option to be able to use him. Sean, just first of all, I know sort of you've had a lot to say on this deal the last couple of days, but I don't think I've had you on here to have your share your opinion with the Irish Hotspur fanatics. So what is your opinion on the deal of Radu Dragusin? Do you like that deal? Does it show enough ambition for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think that he's an old school defender. He's tough. He knows how to tackle, knows how to time his defensive actions really well. Good in the air, strong, combative. He's got a good head on his shoulders, good footballing IQ. You know, Lord of the pings. He likes to ping long balls into channels, which is always good. You know, to get yourself from a defensive situation to an attacking one very quickly. The only question mark I have over him is his ability to zip balls in low to feet, the way that Romero can do it. You don't need, like, he's not going to be the perfect defender for 25 million quid. So, and also he can learn, right? He's 21 years old. He's got plenty of time on his side. But for a 21-year-old to be as competent as he is at all of the main things that a defender needs to do, traditional defending, I think it's an absolute, you know, a bargain, if I'm entirely honest. And I think that Ange and whoever the date, was it the data, was it Paratici and his knowledge of the guy from his youth days, whatever, they've got together and identified this fella as value for money, who can come in and compete and offer us a lot more depth. He hasn't missed a minute of football in the last 4 years, I think, or 3 years. So he's not injury prone, which is rare for a Tottenham player. I think the whole thing makes sense. Like I say, if you're gonna pick something in his game that he's not, that he needs to improve on, like I say, it's probably that low zippy pass into midfield. But you have Romero that can do that. You have Destiny Udogie next to him on the left or the right that can do that. You have Pedro Porro that can do that. So, you know, he can either learn and improve, or he can hand the ball over to somebody else next to him who can do that job for you. In terms of what you need, I think it's great, and I'm really, really happy. I think it's a real coup from Tottenham, and the fact that Bayern Munich were after him, the fact that Liverpool wanted him but moved too late, the fact that AC Milan didn't have the money but wanted him, the fact that Napoli couldn't really attract him, the fact that Newcastle wanted him but got FFP. You know, Tottenham find themselves in a position. I've been saying this for a while. Tottenham, because of prudent financial planning, I know it's frustrating for a lot of people, but because of our prudent financial application, we find ourselves in a position this January to be able to move for players and not have to compete with every single other major team. Okay, you're going to compete with some teams for players' signatures, but not with all of them. Had Arsenal needed a centre-back, they still wouldn't have been able to have gone for this guy. Newcastle couldn't. United couldn't. You know, so Tottenham found themselves in a situation where we could go for this guy and there wasn't a massive bidding war. And so I think it's a really, really smart piece of business. And hats off to the team at Tottenham Hotspur for getting it done. You know, really, really, really impressive. And doing it early. You know, everyone was saying, you know, we could have had this wrapped up on the 1st of January. I promise you that if, you know, his agent has this, you know, sort of talkative, loudmouth kind of thing going on, where he's obviously shopping around the player, trying to get the best deal. And had Tottenham put in the bid on the 4th of January or the 3rd of January or the 6th of January, I'm pretty sure that Bayern Munich would have also put in a bid late then as well. So whether it took the 1st or the 10th or any other time period, we still would have had to have done what we've gone through what we've gone through. Yeah, but all in all, mate, sorry, I'm rambling here. I've had too much espresso. I'm really, really impressed with the business, really impressed with the club, and I think it's going to be a brilliant signing. Our centre-back department now is pretty solid for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, look, for me, I think you've hit a lot on the head there. I'm really excited about the deal. When you look at like Romero and Van de Ven, it's very similar to sort of them deals. You know, when we brought them in here, potential with the ability to become world class if we nurture their talent and they can hit the ground running. And Radu Dragusin fits in exactly to that sort of mold, that model. He's got all the right attributes to be able to succeed. I also think it's something a little bit different to what we don't have in terms of aerial ability. You know, you look at his stats across the Serie A for aerial duels won. How many times have we seen, even in recent weeks, when Emerson and Dier have been, or Emerson and Davies have been in the back line, Bournemouth, Everton, just putting balls in the box, and every single time their striker wins the ball. That can't keep happening. And I think he solves an issue in that regard. Look, I think he's going to be a brilliant signing. You know, he ranks very highly in clearances as well, which shows he's clued on. He's clued in. Concentration is high. He knows how to read the game. Ranks high in tackles. When I look at highlight reels and from what a little bits I have seen of him, he reminds me a bit of Van de Ven and Romero sort of combined. And what I mean by that is out of possession, he likes to get right up behind the guy, show a bit of aggression, look to dislodge the ball. And I know that's probably not music to Sean's ear because he doesn't like how aggressive maybe Romero can be. But in terms of covering that back line,
I think Dragusin's timing of his tackles seems a little bit more. Like I say, I don't have a problem with Romero's aggression. I just have a problem with the outcomes of his aggression at times.
I know. Yeah. But look, when it comes to, and then like when it comes to covering that back line, which we see it, in that back three, it reminds me a little bit of Van de Ven, the way he moves, the perfect sort of timing and the recovery and stuff like that. So I think we're getting a very good defender. The fact that he chose Tottenham as well over Bayern Munich shows that he's looking after his career and wants to play football. He could have easily gone to Bayern Munich, accepted the higher wages, and sat on the bench behind the late Upamecano, Kim Min-jae. He chose not to do that. He looked at Tottenham and says, "I've a better chance of playing there. I'm moving." So I like that, and I think Ange will like that. I think he's got a good character in that sort of regard, which is absolutely brilliant.
And he kept his word, right?
Yeah.
Integrity is a sign of a good character. He said he shook hands with Tottenham, and the news for Bayern Munich came late, and his agent couldn't believe that. His agent clearly wanted the Bayern Munich move, but him and his family said no. We said yes to Tottenham. We're going to go to Tottenham, and I think that's a really, really impressive indication of the sort of guy we've got here. A good guy.
And last thing I'm going to say, Shawnee, integrity is absolutely spot on. Ange would love that. Last thing I'll say on Radu Dragusin for me is that when you look at the likes of Kulu, Bentancur, and Adoji, and you question, how have they hit the ground running in the Premier League? I've noticed they all carry two similar attributes, strength and aggression. And that's what this guy has in abundance. And if you can adapt to the physicality of the Premier League straight away, the rest comes very, very quickly. And I feel like he will be able to adapt to the Premier League very, very quickly, because he does have that strength. He does have that aggression. So, for me, I think it's a solid signing. And again,
I wouldn't mind him getting rid of his agent, though.
Well, look, we were going to discuss that. That was my next talking point, Shawnee.
Okay.
His agent, he's still crowing about Bayern Munich one day. He can still get to a big club. It's really starting to piss me off. I don't think it's helping Dragusin either, amongst Tottenham fans, because some fans might take that wrong and think, well, it must be coming from him and feeding it to his agent. Does he now have to get rid of his agent and sign with someone like CAA base, for instance, who has a lot of Tottenham players on the books? Because I do see him becoming a problem down the line, pushing for moves. Anytime his contract is coming up, whether he wants to stay or not, his agent will put it out there. So-and-so is interested to get higher wages. Does he need to sack him?
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, he's done that. The agent's done what the agent's supposed to do, right? Which is to get got to get a lot of interest in your player. I said this ages ago when I first looked at this guy. The agent is a real talkative bloke who, he's putting out these superlatives. He's the next Van de Ven. He said that, but by the end of next season, the next Virgil van Dijk, by the end of this season, whether in January or the summer, he's going to move to one of the top 10 clubs in Europe. He's right. Tottenham are one of the top 10 clubs in Europe, in my opinion. And look, he does what an agents do, right? Agent be agenting, I guess, as Ren said in one of the comments on my videos. Shout out to her. But I do think that he's going to be trouble, just like Adrian Rabiot's mother agent is a problem for different reasons. I think this guy might be a problem. But look, we've seen a track record. How many players have joined Tottenham and then eventually have dropped their agent and gone and joined CAA base, which are just a massive organization, a massive Californian-based agency that looks after. CAA base is just a subsection of CAA. CAA is one of the biggest agencies. They're professional. They know how it's done. They know what it's about, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy eventually, see that he doesn't need an agent shopping him around anymore. He's now with a big enough club and maybe more professionalism rather than kind of amateur hour conversations with agents that are that are a little bit too mouthy. I think you need to step up a little bit with your as you go through your career. I'd imagine as you go through your career as a celebrity, you need to kind of level up the representation that you have as well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think the guy's starting to annoy me, and I think it's time for this guy. This guy can go back and find the next Radu Dragusin. Go back out wherever you came from. Go and find the next 17-year-old that you can talk up and get that move on. But I think he needs to recognize that there's levels to the game, and you don't need to be shouting your mouth off every 5 minutes.
And you know what? Just to add to that, Charlie, I think if I'm Radu Dragusin in his position right now, I look at it. with the agent trying to advise me to move to Bayern, knowing that there's 3 world-class defenders ahead of me, knowing that I'm only 21, knowing that it was because he was offered a bigger agent fee. That's the crux behind it. Yes, Bayern would have offered him more wages, but the agent would have said, well, you give him more wages, up my agent fee in the process, I'll try and make it happen. Radu Dragusin,
and the agent wasn't, like, Bayern wasn't talking to Genoa. Bayern Munich were talking to the agent. So the agent was talking to Tottenham, talking to Genoa, and then he was feeding back information to Bayern Munich. Oh, Tottenham are about to bid 25 plus 5. So if you come in last minute with 28 plus 6, you know, then maybe we'll get you this job. You could tell that he was scrambling at the end as well when he was saying things like, you know, we couldn't believe that Bayern Munich came in, but I'm like, Radu already shook hands and said that he wanted to go there. You could tell the agent had made promises to Bayern Munich that weren't on the table. You could see it was a little bit kind of underhand and a little bit kind of things going on behind the scenes that maybe wasn't on the table in the first place. So, yeah, I think the agent's I completely agree. The agent has probably shown his cards a little bit there, the sort of guy that he is. And Radu needs to kind of level up.
He has to. He has to realize that he's in it for the money, not for the betterment of him, and he has to clean house in that regard. And hopefully, he realizes that very, very quickly, Sean, because it'll only be for the benefit of him in the future. Because if not, his agent will just constantly cause turmoil in his career, and then will he ever reach the heights that he's ever supposed to? You look at some of the people that got involved with that big agent. What's his name? I can't remember. Paul Pogba, Lukaku, people like that. Have they ever really reached their potential? Always a lot surrounding them. And there's been many more players like that that's been on his books. You don't really want that sort of agent in your life who just sees you as a monetary value rather than the human being side of things. But look, we will move on. We've got the next bit of news just quickly. We'll take this from Dermatron, and then Drew Zill is gifting out 10 memberships, which is absolutely insane. So people make sure you show Drew the love on that one. But Dermatron is clapping back. He says, not being big-headed, just nice to prove I was right. Not a dig at you two, by the way. I work hard in the window to get the right news. Love the name, Sean. See, I told you, you're feeding into his ego, Shawnee.
Yeah.
Look.
Big up, Dermo.
Look, Dermo, we all get, look, I got it over Paratici, right? And look, it is nice sometimes to clap back and say, you know what? I did get it right. But look, Dermo, it is what it is. It's the transfer window. There's so much out there. It's, look, just keep doing what you're doing as long as you're enjoying doing the content. That's all that matters, my man. People will always form opinions. And look, when we're out here giving our opinion, I suppose you got to expect sometimes that people will, also give you their opinion, whether you agree with it or not. But big up, Tron, my man. He's clapping back at everybody. It's brilliant to see. And then Drew Zilla, with the 10 memberships. Let me see who he's gifted them to. I see a lot of people already saying thanks in the chat, so make sure you keep bigging them up, by the way, and saying thank you. Let me just double check. Mick Dundee, Alpesh Patel, KM, Strathers, Cantaleb, Kevin Ferguson, Paddy Harnett, Jazz Fusion, Dave Janola, and Miss IrishHotspur, great name. IrishHotspur, great name. My missus said that to me last night. But yeah, that's who basically they've been gifted to. Please, in the chat, everybody, make sure you give Drew Zilla a massive thank you, and make sure you get involved with all the stuff we do in the community section, the fan shows, and everything else like that. Big up, Drew, my man. Really appreciate it, and it's a great way to support the channel, but also give to others as well while you're doing it. So really appreciate that, Drew, my man. Big yourself up.
Big up, Drew.
Legend.
Just quickly on the agent thing, I think Mick Dundee in the comment there is right. He says that the guy's not going to sack him straight after his move to Spurs. Not happening. I completely agree. Like, there's no chance it's going to happen now, but I'd imagine that over the next couple of years, you're going to start to have, like, the CAA base are going to tell their clients, oh, by the way, get into the year of Radu. You know what happens, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the agents can directly approach people that are not affiliated to their agency, but they can, roundabout ways, get the word in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that a change of agency over the next 18 months if things go well at Tottenham. In the meantime, we're going to have to grin and bear this agent talking a little bit too much about Tottenham and about our players. You know,
it's just really irritating. I mean, from the agent's point of view, give the guy time to settle in and make himself a hero amongst the fan base. It's really, really annoying, Mick Dundee. But yeah, like Sean said, further down the line, it is something I would be looking at. And Drew Zilla saying to everyone, I gifted them so you can get in on the membership content. Big up, Drew Zilla. Really appreciate that, my man. Look, we'll keep cracking on. Oh no, last question on the sort of the centre back situation, Sean. So, and Dark Sun G will love this if he's still watching. In just 6 months, we've gone from these centre-back options, Romero, Dier, Sanchez, Langley, Tanganga, and Davies, to Romero, Van de Ven, Dragusin, Davies, Phillips, Dorrington, and Viskovic. So, Sean, my question to you is, are we okay for centre-back options now? Can we tick that off the list this January, or do you still think you would like one more?
I'm okay. No, well, look, it depends on Ben Davies' length of his injury. I'm okay. I've always been okay with Ben Davies. You and I have sort of butted heads about this one. We very rarely disagree, but when we do disagree, it's usually about Ben Davies. I think that he's. I think he's more than competent enough. And I'd also say that at a push, Emerson Royale has come in and done a really good job as well. We were talking last year about whether or not Emerson Royale could have been a solution at the right side of a back three. So I didn't know about that. If the 24-month contract, I didn't know that with agencies, if that's true. But with Emerson Royale, he's come in and done a good job. So yeah, I don't think we need to push or rush. And I do think we need to always keep a door open for these guys, that are coming through. Clearly, Ange has seen Ash Phillips and thought he's not ready because, Højbjerg played at the back before he did. Eric Dier played at the back before he did. Emerson Royale played at the back before he did. So, and I'd imagine that he was further ahead than Dorrington in the queue. So, in a nutshell, you got to keep one eye on the future. We've got 3 players coming through in Dorrington, Phillips, and Viskovic, but maybe they're 2 years away. For the time being, I think we've got enough now. Short of an injury crisis, we should have enough cover.
Do you know what? For me, I think we've got enough until the summer. Then I would look at getting Davies out and bringing someone else in. Maybe a Tosin, maybe a Lloyd Kelly, someone like that, if that's what people want. But if you are letting go of Davies, you have to bring in someone that is homegrown. So I do think it will be an English-based sort of defender who qualifies for homegrown rules if you do bring him in here over Davies. But look, up until the summer now, I would close that and I would look at bringing in another centre midfielder. It's the next position that sort of worries me a little bit at this moment in time. But look, we've done amazing work. I know a lot of people weren't happy with Sanchez being let go right before the window. Me, I was delighted. I didn't think it's like, what would he add to the club anyway this season? Even if he was here, he still wouldn't do better than what Emerson or Davies have done. So for me, I'm delighted we've got him gone. The next one we're going to speak about in just a couple of moments' time, he's also gone. But for me, I think we can close that now up until the summer and then revisit it. And if I'm being extremely picky, yes, I would get rid of Davies and bring in one more person. But for now, I think you guys will be able to be delighted and agree with me. You won't have to hear me moan about centre-backs, which I've been doing for 4 years. 4 fucking years I've been moaning about it. You don't have to hear me moan about it once between now and the end of the season unless Ben Davies plays. And then I might have to moan. We'll wait and see how he does, though, first, if he performs well or not. But look, moving on to the next bit of news, not going to spend too much time on this. And it is Jed Spence to Genoa as part of the Dragusin deal. Medical this morning for Jed Spence as new Genoa player on loan from Tottenham. He's part of the Dragusin deal. 10 million buy option clause included. So I think we all hope he goes out there, smashes it, and they take that option to buy him up and bring him in. Sean, it also came out since then that Tottenham are also going to be paying 100% of Jed Spence wages up until the summer. I mean, does that annoy you a little? And what do you think happened to Jed Spence at Spurs? Just quickly, attitude problems, or maybe Spurs just not knowing what to do with him, or man just couldn't get the best out of him.
Yeah, well, probably a little from column A, B, and C, but I think that the attitude seems to be a thing. What I would say, Daniel Farke, or Farke, however you say his name, coming out. Okay, mate. Daniel Farke coming out and throwing the guy under the bus irritated me. Whilst I'm not surprised to hear it, and I thought it was a pretty damning indictment, it's not his baby to call ugly. Jed Spence belongs to Tottenham, and he was just a loan player. So to come out there and say those sorts of things, which ultimately undermines the value of the player, puts a black mark against his name, a blemish against his record, I think Daniel Farke's out of line. All you got to do is say, it didn't quite work out here, and we're moving in a different direction. But we want to thank Jed for his service, for his time and services. To come out and say, ultimately, it comes down to professionalism, integrity, and even if you're not part of the team here, whilst you're here, you have to act as though you are. You know what? Like, you're calling someone else's baby ugly, and I think that's unacceptable in my opinion. So, shame on Farke, whatever. And in terms of Jed Spence in future for Tottenham, I'd be surprised if he's going to level up. I think that, Ange Postecoglou's already made it clear that for him, it's not about, or it's more about the character than it is about the talent. And for me, Jed Spence, I think, well, look, even if Farke shouldn't have said it, if it's true what he said, then it rings true with also the sort of vibes you were hearing from Conte's camp about him as well. I think the guy thinks he can run before he walks with his career. He needs to kind of relax a little bit on the ego, do as you're told, buy into where you're at, and get on board it. Like you're playing a team game, bro. If you think it's all about you, you're wrong, and you're going to struggle wherever you are. And if you're only happy when you're getting what you want, you're acting petulant and childish. And again, you're not going to grow. So as I said in my video that I did today, I think he as a person needs to grow up a little bit. And I don't know whether Genoa will be the right move for him, but he's not our problem for the next 6 months. Again, we'll kick the can down the road and we'll deal with him and Ndombele in the summer when we've got more time to think about it. I'm glad he's not. I'm glad he was. It was. If it took that to get the deal done, then all good.
I love the expression. Sorry, it took me a bit longer. I had no water left in the fridge, so I had to get some OJ Tropicana, the good stuff. But look, I love the expression. It's not his baby to call ugly. That's an absolute belter, lad. Look, I sort of agree with you on that. Look, when it comes to Jed Spence, I had very high hopes for him. He has all the raw attributes to be able to become a Premier League player. However, unfortunately, I think he feels like he's made it because he's made it into a sign for Tottenham. And I think that's come back to bite him in the ass. And I'm surprised with the kid because, he was last one pulled out of his Sunday League team or whatever you call it into academies. Every year or every 2 years when they look at the deals, he was last one to sort of get it over the line. He always had to do a bit extra than everybody else to prove it. And his mother has explained that in the past about how hard he's worked to get into the professional game, and to just throw it all away like that is very, very sad. Hopefully the move to Genoa can sort of make him grow up a little bit, make a man out of him and do well. But he's scuppered his Tottenham opportunity. Ange will not have him back. Ange looks at characters. That's twice now. He's been very quick to get him out of the club as soon as he's come in. So this one has to work for Jed Spence, or you might see him out in the Mexican League in a couple of years' time. But that's it on Jed Spence from us. A couple more super chats here, and then we're going to get on to Eric Dier and a couple of people. I'm going to take a comment from Eddie Ryan on it as well, sort of backing you up, Sean. Although I'm going to hit back at a little bit. Just quickly before we get into that, though, 4 Art Below says a small thank you for all the hard work and content you and Jack give us, especially the Twitter post game reviews, which need to be maybe a day after. Come on, you Spurs! Come on, you Flat Cap Army! Look. First of all, thank you very much, my man. I really do appreciate the support. It really does mean a lot. And the gratitude that you're showing, it really does mean a lot, my man. Thank you very much for that. Look, the Twitter, I think you're on about the Twitter reacts, is it? See, it's a hard one to know sort of when to put it out. Do you put it out the next day when everyone's sort of forgotten about the result? Do you put it out that night when everyone's still doing sort of, streaming live, talking about the game and stuff like that? It's a hard one. And also, then you've also got to wait for the good stuff, because some of the witty stuff doesn't come till later on that night when people have had a few beers and start celebrating. So, you don't always get the juicy stuff put out there straight away. But look, I think we've settled on maybe uploading it the next morning. So what we do is, after we do the watch along and all, you boys think we go off and have a curry or something. We don't. We sit there, we get straight onto Twitter Reacts, try and get some of that stuff done to put out for the next morning. So I think we're going to start. So it will be out the morning after games from now on. 4 Art Below. One thing I will say is, and I refuse to do it when we lose, because it's just not fun. I can't do it when we lose, and then because all you're doing is people are like making points and like you're just agreeing with them and stuff like that. It's not fun doing it when we lose. So when we lose, I won't do it. When we win, I will do it. I can only be that as fair as that, my man. Big up for it below and really appreciate the support, brother. DDMKTHFC85. Jesus, that is an absolute tongue twister. Didn't Dermo say Son wouldn't get 15 goals? Genius. No, I don't think Dermo did, to be fair. Look, I'm not going to speak on Dermo's behalf. What I will say is I think Dermo sort of was of the idea that all of the front three would chip in within and around 15 each and make up for Harry Kane's shortfall. That's what I believe he said. I could be wrong. Look, Dermot says a lot of things on a daily basis, so, I can't remember absolutely everything he said. But look, I don't know. Dermot will have to clap back. Has he clapped back? Maybe he has. This is Dermotron. He says, just some news to you too. Gallagher deal could be a loan deal with the agent thing. BM offer him 3.5 million where he's getting 2.5 million from Spurs. Dermot, I haven't a clue. I don't know how. Sean, can you make that one out?
Well, I think he's saying that Conor Gallagher might come to Tottenham on a loan deal where the agent of Conor Gallagher is going to get 2.5 million quid and 3.5 million quid for Chelsea. I'd be surprised if that. I mean, look, I got no idea, but I'd be surprised if it was a loan deal because Chelsea the only reason Chelsea want to sell him is so they can get the money on their FFP.
Yeah.
And a loan deal doesn't really do that, but maybe, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, look, with Conor Gallagher, I don't know. Look, a part of me wants to see the meltdown in the Chelsea fan base when we sign their captain. That would be absolutely beautiful TV for an evening. I think we'll all agree on that. However, I'm not sure Pochettino will want to let him go. The fact that he's walked in there, he's sort of made him captain and stuff like that, and he plays week in, week out. I'm not sure Chelsea will let him go.
The last few games that I've watched of him, I was very much. I am still on board the transfer. I think he's a good player. I think he fits the system, right? I think his attributes are a good gel. So you get an extra 10%. But for what it's worth, the last 3 games that I've watched of Chelsea's, the game against Middlesbrough, the game was it the FA Cup game, and the game against was it Luton? I forget who it was, or Palace. I forget who it was he played recently for Chelsea. He stank the place out with some of his passing, some of his decisions. And I'm like, maybe I hope it's just a little bit of bad form. But because I've kind of been out and put my cards on the table and I was like, I'm up for Conor Gallagher. I said that back before Christmas, in November and stuff when the links were emerging. I said it at the end of the summer when the links were emerging. I think he fits. But got to be honest, the last few times I've watched Chelsea, he's really, really disappointed me. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, look, it'd be an interesting one. Personally, I think Conor Gallagher's name would be used as a smokescreen if someone else to come in completely. I just don't see Chelsea willing to let that deal go. If they do, it's because they want help with financial fair play so that they can maneuver in this window. And I definitely don't want to give them that option either. With the way we sort of operate, and I was saying this on your channel yesterday, Sean, that with the way we've operated, and, yes, it's took a few years, this, that, and the other, but we've left ourselves about 200-300 million to work with once we do get close to a title challenge, right? Whereas other teams are now at the point where you have to sell before they can buy. So it gives us a bit of wiggle room. And last thing we want to do is help them in that regard, Dermotron. But big yourself up, brother. Really do appreciate the support, my man. Please come in and answer DDMKTHFC85, though, Dermo, please. I don't want to answer for you, so come in and answer that one, my man. I think we've just got 2 small bits of news left, and then we will end it off, and then I think we'll be back tonight, hopefully, with something else. Eric Dier to Bayern Munich. Here we go. Eric Dier joins Bayern for a fee close to €4 million. Personal terms agreed. Tuchel also called Dier. Dier is in Munich for medicals today. Spurs accepted after Dragusin deal. Green light overnight from Daniel Levy. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Since then, he has completed all his medical tests. Let me just double check on Twitter, make sure we haven't got the official it's done. I think it is more or less done at this point. But yeah, look, Sean, I mean, I did say to you to bring some Kleenex to the stream because you might need it. I know you've been a big backer of Dier. I know you like him as a human being and stuff like that. Look, first of all, I mean, what's your thoughts on Eric Dier leaving? Are you happy? Are you sad? And then I have a follow-up from Eddie Ryan.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy he's gone. I'm happy he's moving on with his career. I'm happy that for him, it's a brilliant move for him. I'm really happy that Tottenham didn't tear up his contract like everybody was asking us to. I was the only person saying, don't do that. It's ridiculous to tear up a contract and pay the guy out.
You
It
did
sets
say
a
a
really
couple of
bad.
weeks ago, though, on a show that we were doing, that you're at that point where you think Tottenham should consider ripping it up now in the January window.
Oh, I said it's an easier thing to do with 6 months left if necessary. But last summer, when everyone was saying tear it up, pay the guy out, I was like, this is a terrible precedent. It's what Hugo Lloris is waiting for. It's what Eric Dier is waiting for. It's what Ndombele is waiting for. It's a nonsense thing. It takes up your cash flow. I've been very consistent about this narrative of tearing up contracts is stupid and foolhardy. And I'm glad we didn't do it. In terms of Eric Dier for Tottenham, I think look, the guy spent 10 years of his life here. And I think that there's a massive, massive amount of scapegoating that goes on. I think that generally speaking, a lot of Tottenham fans, just it's like overly simplistic analysis of why we concede goals. Yes, there's some goals where the mistakes are clearly an unforced error by a player. Last season, there was a few from him, a few from Hugo Lloris. And in those environments, those scenarios, you can say on that particular point, Eric Dier was at blame or Hugo was to blame or whatever. But generally speaking, if you reverse engineer a goal and say, well, the last defender who didn't make the tackle that, for the guy, didn't tackle the guy who put it in the back of the net, it's the fault lays with him. I think that avoids any kind of level of context. I think that, you concede as a team and you score as a team in the most part. I think that Eric Dier.
You say that though, Sean, but anytime he made a mistake, he was blaming others. So is it really that much of a team for like I don't want to get into using the team excuse for him, considering he starts blaming other people when he makes mistakes. He clearly has no notion.
I'm not worried about him being whether he was blaming. I'm saying generally speaking, the blame from in analyzing why goals are conceded, or why we lose games. If because of a goal being conceded, well, you could say, well, the strikers don't score enough. If you're only ever going to blame the defender who doesn't make the tackle for the goals conceded or the games that we lose, then strikers get away scot-free. Then majority of midfielders get away scot-free. Wingers get away scot-free. I know that mistakes made by defenders or goalkeepers usually have more dire, pardon the pun, consequences. But like Harry Kane, the best striker Tottenham have ever had, didn't score with every opportunity that was ever presented to him. But in that scenario where he misses a gilt-edged chance, it's just, oh, well, we didn't score. And he can miss 10 opportunities, but if he scores the 11th and you win the game 1-0, he's the man of the match. Like, I just think that the kind of reductive analysis of who's to blame when we score goals is too simplistic as a fan base. And I think Eric Dier, absent a few scenarios where he did make unforced errors, I think he was usually scapegoated far too much for the goals that happened. Last season was a bit of an anomaly. Last season, he had a terrible season. The season before, he was responsible for us. He was part of the team that got us to finish fourth. And that was all forgotten. For me personally, it's the end of a 10-year era with Eric Dier. I wish him well. I'm not going to sit here and remember him like I'll remember Gareth Bale in 10 years' time. I'm not going to remember him like I remember Harry Kane. I will put him in the bucket of players that spent a long time at Tottenham and were part of our past. I'm not going to remember him fondly or negatively. I'm just going to think of Eric Dier as part of the history of Tottenham. I really wish him well. I want him to go and do good things at Bayern Munich, and I've got absolutely no issues and no apathy, no bad energy towards him at all. Good luck to you, Eric. Really appreciate you're spending 10 years in my consciousness, and thanks for the memories, I guess.
Look, first of all, I completely disagree. I think you're no surprise to that, to be honest with you. Look, I'm absolutely buzzing he's gone. I think he's been a major problem in this squad the last 3 to 4 years. I think under Jose Mourinho, Jose came in here, gave the guy confidence, said, you're going to be my centre-back. And then by the time Jose left, he took him out of the team because of all the mistakes he was making. Can't blame everybody else for one player's mistakes. It's absolute ludicrous. When we talk about scoring goals, last season we were scoring 2, 3, 4 goals a game. Yeah, and you have to turn around and keep clean sheets at some point. With him being the most experienced player across that back line last season, you expect him to lead it, and he didn't do it. We come off the season with the most goals we've ever conceded in a Premier League season since it began. It's nowhere near good enough. When he makes mistakes, he blames other people. He didn't want to make challenges. He's a very passive defender. He would allow a person to pick up the ball midway in our half and run him completely back inside our 6-yard box. For me, the fact that Ange came in and barely used him, I think he played, 2 games, shows exactly the type of player that Ange thinks he is, maybe the type of character he thinks he is as well. And for me, I know he's been here 10 years, but I think it's an absolute crime. I don't think someone like him, for what he's offered this football club, he should have ever lasted here that long. He's been a massive part of the excuse culture of the club over the last 3 to 4 years, and I do not like it. And I'm absolutely glad that weak mentalities like his are gone out of this football club, and I think you'll see us progress. When Toby and Jan went, he had his opportunity to prove he was the man for this football club, and he took us from challenging for trophies down to finishing outside Europe. So for me, I think he's only got himself to blame for it not working out. I think he's only got himself to blame that he didn't get a contract renewal. And for me, I'm glad I don't have to have any more of these silly debates over whether he's good enough or whether he's not, whether he's half decent, whether he's not. For me, I don't find myself having them debates about Van de Ven, people like that. So I'm just glad he's absolutely gone. Do I wish him the best of luck? Yeah, I suppose I do. I suppose I do wish him the best of luck at Bayern. Look, I don't think he's going to play much. I think he's gone out there for a good contract offer to look pretty, to say that he ended his look at the clubs I've paid for by the time he's ended his career. He's definitely not gone out there for game time, because I don't think he'll get it. But look, I'm just absolutely delighted he's gone. Along with Hugo Lloris this summer, Ange Postecoglou purposely, and as well, he was a part of the leadership group the last few years. People make out like he's been absolutely amazing for Tottenham.
I never said that.
Not you, Shawnee, but a lot of people that defend Dier, they speak about all the pluses of the guy. One thing they severely overlook: when he's a leader of the dressing room, and you are constantly changing managers, bringing in assistant managers, constantly changing them around, it shows that leadership ain't right, and they're there serving themselves, not this football club. So again, another reason why I'm absolutely delighted to see him gone. And it wasn't just him. Hugo Lloris, others were involved, but I'm delighted that he's gone. I think he's far too divisive for his ability, to be brutally honest with you. I'm happy.
Okay. I'm happy he's gone too. I'm happy he's gone too.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying I completely, you see it one way, I see it the other.
Yeah. No, I listen, like I said, happy he's gone. He's not right for Tottenham, not good enough for Tottenham. All of that stuff is absolutely agreeable. I just find the resentment of him as a person harsh, and I find like I say, I think he's a scapegoat. I think he has been scapegoated. I think that the times when he's been absent a few individual unforced errors, where you can say, well, that we wouldn't have conceded had it not been for a stupid header or for him slipping over or whatever else. And last season, it was his worst season for Tottenham, for sure. So in recency bias, people will always remember the most recent effort, and it hasn't been good enough. But over a 10-year period, I don't think he's been anywhere near as bad as people make out. And I don't think that like I say, I stick to my point, not just about Eric Dier, but just generally about Tottenham fans. I think that people don't do enough analysis of why it is we can see goals. It could have been, a sloppy pass that was unnecessarily given away by an attacking midfielder that didn't go to its direct target, and then from there everyone's backtracking and you're punished on the counter. The amount of times that's happened, but it's the person who misses the tackle in the last second that gets the blame. Well, I think that's poor analysis, in my opinion. I think that happens a lot with Tottenham.
Look, I get what you're saying. Obviously, if the midfielder gives away the ball, there has to be some part of the blame on him. But the reason why you employ defenders is if other people make mistakes going forward, which they're going to do if you're asking them to be expressive, and most teams camp their men in the second half. He's paid to make that tackle. If he doesn't make the tackle, he's to blame. He's not earning his wages in my book. Look, I don't think it is racist.
But the midfielder is there to make the pass, so he's to blame as well, right? In equal measure, he's not doing his job either, is he?
But he's the last line of defense. That's what.
If the striker misses 10 chances, scores the 11th.
But when you're asking players to be expressive on the ball, be expansive on the ball, there's more risk of losing it. That's going to happen. And the reason why you hire the best defenders possible is so that when you do give it away from playing like that, hopefully, you have enough at the back line to be able to stop it, get the ball and go again. Attacking in football is the hardest thing to do. Score goals in football is the hardest thing to do. No one's ever said that about defenders. With Eric Dier, I don't think it is recency bias either, Sean. I think that season that you're alluding to under Conte when he first came and helped us get the Champions League, he was atrocious under Nuno, just like everybody else until Nuno came here. So he had one good half a season. Last season, he was atrocious. Under Jose Mourinho, he was atrocious. Under Pochettino, he's a backup brigade. So I'd argue for the 10 years here, I don't think it is recency bias. I don't think he's ever been good enough. I don't think he's ever produced. But look, as I said, I'm just delighted he's gone. Absolutely delighted he's gone. Just quickly, I'll take this comment, Sean. This one is, you're going to love this one. Where is it? Eddie Ryan. He says, wasn't Sean right when he said about not cancelling Dier's contract? Now we got money for him. First of all, what I will say is, and I'm going to hold Sean to this, I've done a show with him a couple of weeks ago, and he did say, maybe we should look at cancelling Dier's contract now.
No, I didn't say that. You're twisting the words. I said I never agree with cancelling contracts, but if you're going to cancel the contract in January, then it's half as expensive as it would have been in the summer. Okay. I've never been an advocate of cancelling contracts, Dave. Don't twist the words, mate.
No, in the summer you weren't, but I'm pretty sure 2 weeks ago you said it because I remember having a debate with you.
I said if you're going to cancel the contract in January because he won't go because he refused. If he's putting his feet in the sand, I'm not going. Then if you're going to do it, it makes twice as much sense as it did in the summer because it's costing half as much. But I'm not an advocate at all of cancelling contracts unless you've got some grandmaster plan. But if you do it for one, like in the summer, if you did it for, I reckon that there was a click. I think him and Lloris and Ndombele and everybody else, they were all kind of saying, none of us go anywhere. They're going to force to pay one. If they pay one of us out, then they pay all of us out. And then we can all get the full contract and then go on our merry way, 5 million quid richer or whatever it would be. With Eric Dier, I'm not a fan of cancelling contracts. I'd rather leave them. Because it murders your cash flow. Cash flow is the most important thing in business, almost more than revenue, because like money coming in and money going out allows you to do what you want to do in the meantime. And to give up someone's entire wages, which is what you have to do if you cancel contract, absent some sort of negotiation on the payout, you'd rather just leave them out of the squad and pay them off their weekly wage. So I'm never an advocate for it. And all I said was a couple of weeks ago was that in the scenario where Eric Dier refuses to go, and in the scenario where we've identified another centre-back that's coming in and that you can't bring him in because he's a non-homegrown player with full up, then it makes more sense now than it did in the summer. But I'm not an advocate for it.
Right, okay, that's fair enough. Look, what I would say is that, Eddie, we haven't gained here. Let's not sit here and act like we've gained. All we've done is recoup the wages that he's done, that we've paid him over the last couple of months when he hasn't contributed for them wages. So we haven't gained here whatsoever. We haven't gained anything about it. 4 million. We're just recouping what we've paid him over the last few months. So we haven't gained anything at all. So let's not go on like we have. And look, this thing about ripping up contracts, other clubs have done it. Other clubs
doesn't mean it's right. Look at Arsenal. How much money have they spent tearing up Aubameyang's contract? What do they do with Pepe? What do they do with who was the other one? Lacazette, was it? Yeah, they've had to borrow, like their owners are now 400 million quid into the hole.
Yeah, but it's not just because of that, though, Sean. They've spent millions of pounds.
No, I know, but it's a part of the process, right? You set bad precedents, you pay players out, and I don't agree with it. Like, maybe it's because I'm, I run businesses and things, and I understand the kind of consequences of cash flow. If you don't have to pay people out their money, you shouldn't. And I think it sets a really bad precedent. So I'm not on board with it generally.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Big up, Eddie Ryan, my man. Where are we? A couple more chats and then we have one more bit of news. It won't take too long to get through it all. Dermot says the agent thing, he would have got 3.5 million. He only got 2.5 million for the Radu deal. You were right, Dave, on what I said. Sorry for this. All right, no worries, Darwell, no worries. So, going to Bayern, he would have got 3.5 million. So, $1 million more as an agent fee rather than the 2.5 million is what you're saying for the Radu deal. Yeah, look, he's got to get rid of the agent. The agent didn't have his best interest at heart there, Darmo, whatsoever. Really appreciate you clarifying that, my man. Dark Sun G21, we sold Dier while, man, you can't sell Maguire, laughing my ass off. Look, what I will say is Maguire's picked up his form of recent, He's picked up his form of recent, to be fair to the guy. Look, also I think we paid 5 million for Dier back in the 2000 odds from Sporting. Man United paid 60 to 80 million. It's a different ballgame trying to offload him altogether. Dark Zone G. But yeah, and look, I'm just delighted he's gone. I'm delighted we've offloaded him. He says Dier doesn't close down long shots, which cost. Look, Dier doesn't do a lot, which cost us, in my opinion, Dark Zone G. Look, I'm just glad I just don't have to talk. After today, I don't have to talk about the guy anymore, which is a huge plus in my book. And hopefully we see a lot better from the likes of Dragusin coming in here, the replacements and stuff like that. If we don't, then it's all been in vain for no reason. So, it does count on Dragusin coming in here and hitting the ground running, Dark Zone G. But look, just thank God he's gone now. Thank God. I'm just sick of having to have debates over average Joe Schopes that really don't deserve that much time. But they got that much time because they needed to go. And then me, a member for 15 months, big up me. I really appreciate the support. She says, big up Dave. And the donut, Sean. I think that's a donut. Yeah, it's a bagel. Bagel or donut? The donut. Sean. Windows 7.5 so far. A few more outgoings and a midfielder. And that, for me, would be a very, very good window. Would you agree with that, Sean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've already given it an 8.5. I wouldn't agree that I'm a donut. I think Captain Donut is the woman who put the member post in. Hope she's okay. Yeah, 7.5. All right. I think it's an 8.25, 8.5. Something like that. Look, we're all in the same ballpark. It's been a very impressive window. A little bit of room to improve. Yeah. And I think a midfielder in would be lovely.
Yeah, look, I think we definitely need another centre midfielder in now at this point. Look, what sort of midfielder do you go after? Do you go after someone with young and potential, knowing that Madison and Bentancur and that are coming back, or do you go with someone that's sort of already out there proven? Look, I would like to go with someone proven. I think we need to do better than skipping. If you can get someone that offers more than Højbjerg to come in here, I'm all for letting Højbjerg go then. So look, we'll wait and see how the situation pans out, but I do think we won't probably go on a centre midfielder until we have a move for Højbjerg lined up. That would be my guess. So let's wait and see what happens. But I don't think we're done yet. I think a centre midfielder would probably be the last one in the door, and I'd say that would probably be it for incomings then, Mia, on that regard. But look, once we get a centre midfielder, I think it'd be a brilliant window. I said coming into this window, I wanted strengthening right through the spine of the team, and I've got that. So I think it'll be a very good window. Very happy. So big up me. I really appreciate the support on that. Member for 15 months. Absolute great service. And then the last bit of news we've got here, Shawnee, is Romero returns. According to Dan Kilpatrick today, for his paper, Christian Romero is back in full training and in contention for Spurs' visit to Manchester United on Sunday following a hamstring injury. But Giovanni Lo Celso is expected to miss the game with a muscle issue sustained in the FA Cup over Burnley last week. So that probably explains why he came off last week. Maybe a lot of people were confused why he was sort of hauled off, and I think Skip wasn't. Maybe that's the answer there. But Romero back, Sean. So where does that leave Dragusin for United? Do you still start him? Do you not?
No. If he's back in full training. If Romero's back in full training, I don't want to speculate on this one. I'm going to leave it up to the powers that be. Like, I worry a little bit that Romero. Like, I kind of love the fact that Romero sort of sat bolt upright and gone, hang about. You brought someone in. No, I'm ready, Bob. I'm ready to play. I'm like who said it the other day? It was I think it was Johnny said the Undertaker coming out of the coffin, like back from the dead. In an ideal world, I'd like to see Romero and Van der Ven get the band back together. Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, and Porro, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. However, Van der Ven hasn't played, a massive or any football. Romero, if he's fully fit, great. He's the one who understands the system and that hasn't missed that much football. So in an ideal world, you put Romero back in, Van der Ven you give 60 minutes to, and then you put Dragusin in for the last 25, 30. That would be what I would do. But you know what? If Romero's not fully fit and he's just saying that he's ready, what you don't want is any problems. You don't want any flare-ups. You don't want people... You've got options, right? Emerson Royale will probably sitting there kind of going, well, I haven't done that much wrong. Why am I suddenly being relegated to the bench again? So for me, I'm just going to leave it up to I'll trust whatever the medical team and Ange thinks. And I don't really mind. For the first time in a while, we've got options now, which is great. Ben Davies won't be around, obviously, but I'm comfortable with whichever two of the three that they use. I expect to see all three of them get minutes during the game.
Mm. Yeah, look, I think it all depends how fit Romero actually is. Is he, like Sean saying, sort of peacocking and pushing himself back early because there's someone else in the door, which could come back to his detriment. For me, same with Van de Ven. I think the two of them really need to sort of be assessed. With Van de Ven, I think we need to. I'm worried about him because his career could very easily go down the route of Ryan Sessegnon with recurrent injuries all of the time. So we have to make sure he is 100% fully ready to go. Look, it'd be interesting. I suppose it gives us a talking point in the pre-match pump-up. What centre-back partnership do you want to see heading into the Man United game? But that is, I said we'd end on some even better news with Romero returning. So, look, that's it from all the sort of transfer news out and around today. If there is anything that comes hot off the press later on, I might come back. I don't know whether I'll do a live or just a quick sort of news update to let you guys know what's going on, but stay tuned. Look, good window to the start so far. Timo Werner in 4 million on loan with a 15 million buy option. Radu Dragusin in 25 million plus 5 million add-ons. Hugo Lloris out, and we save 6 months of his wages because he's gone. Jed Spence out on loan, 10 million buy option. Eric Dier out 4 million, which basically covers the Timo loan actually, and sort of saves about 6 months in wages. So that is our transfer window to date. So yeah, that's it. Shawnee, where can people find you, my man?
Spurs Talk Show. Oh, hang on. Just turn my TV off. I can't see you or hear you anymore. So I'm just going to say, literally can't see a thing. But Spurs Talk Show is where you can find me. I'm going to shut up now because I've got to get the TV back on. Hang on.
No worries. Everyone, the channel name is added in the title of the stream. If you don't click on that, I'm putting the link in here now. Click on that and get over and check out Sean's channel. If you haven't already, get over there and smash the subscribe. If you are, get over there and check out the update that he's put out today as well. So there's content there for you guys. But look, that's it from us. I potentially might be seeing you later on. I don't know 100% yet. But that's it. Have a great day, everybody. Dragusin in, Dier out, Romero back. Things couldn't get any better. Come on, you Spurs. In the mighty Ange we trust. In the mighty Paratici we trust. I'm going to add to that now. Come on, you Spurs. We never stop.